Hey guys, this is Dr. Callahan for week 20, Tuesday, Algebra 2 or Algebra 1 Semester 2. Happy Tuesday, you guys. So you're done with the first study guide and we finished that last week. So if you missed it, you need to watch the video from week 18 Monday until week 19 Friday for the first 67 questions of the first study guide. Now we're officially over to the second study guide. And so this is what it looks like in your guided notes. And today in class, we're going to go over starting off with question number 1. So everybody make sure you guys turn over to question number 1 right there, and we will go over them. So on your comment just reply now, they'll have a Algebra 1 reference sheet, which looks like this. So this is your formula sheet that you will have. Your test on the actual test look very similar to the study guide number 2 and number 1. And I want to make sure you guys have enough exposure to it so that way you guys know what to expect on the day of the exam. So with that said, let's take a look at example number 1. So this one says, which of the following is a solution for this equation? When it's saying solution, it's just saying what is x equal to, okay? And we've already gone over some of the questions similar to this on the first study guide. So if you're like, oh, I kind of remember how to do this, that's good. You should look familiar. So your job here is to get x by itself. Your x is right here in red that I'm boxing. But there's a bunch of tag-along numbers that you want to get rid of, like this -6 in yellow, 3 in orange, and the -2 in green. So which color or which number do you want to get rid of first? And there's an order for it. You have to get rid of that -6 first. So I'm going to subtract 6 on both sides. And when I do that, you just cancel because positive -6 cancels. -2x plus 3 equals 10 minus 6 is a 4. So you get rid of the yellow first. Then when you're done with that, you want to get rid of the green, which is a -2. What's opposite of a times by -2 is a divide by -2. So when you do that, remember, you're going to go ahead and cancel out the -2 because that's going to be canceled. And you have x plus 3 in absolute values equals -2. So at this point, you don't have any numbers outside of the absolute value, and you're just going to go ahead and split it. Your first question that you're going to split to is going to be x plus 3 equals -2. Second one is x plus 3 equals +2 because it has a positive and negative. And then your last step is you're going to subtract 3 on both sides. And when you do that, your first answer is a -5 and your second answer is a -1. So the only one that works in this situation is B as in boy. And again, just remember I'm video recording this. So, if you're like, you're going a little bit fast and I'm sorry if I'm doing that, but I have to like move along. You can always watch the video a second time. Okay, so that's available. Okay, so question number 2, which one here is going to give you the solution for this equation? And again, you want to get rid of that -3. Opposite of a times is a divide. So I'm going to divide it by -3 and you're left with absolute value x plus 4 equals a +2. Now, there's nothing else attached on the left side outside of the absolute value, so you're going to go ahead and split it. Your first one is x plus 4 equals 2. Your second equation is x plus 4 equals -2. And you guys know opposite of a +4 is a -4. And then when I go ahead and solve for this, my first answer is going to be a -2. My second answer is going to be a -6. So the only one that works or meet that criteria is B as in boy. For question number 3, this is the interesting one. When it says select all that applies, what that means is that there is more than one right answer. So you got to select at least 2 or more correct answers, okay? And if you select one of them and it's correct, but you didn't select the other one, it's going to mark it as incorrect. So let's go ahead and graph this. You guys know that an absolute value is going to be a V shape, right? Because we talked about that. Now, because this is a negative like that, you know it's going to be sad face. It's going to face downward, right? In addition to that, you also see that it's a 1/2. 1/2 is smaller than 1, which means your shape is going to be a wider V shaped. So it's going to start at 0, 0, because there's no numbers like inside the X, outside the X to tell you if it's go up or down, because it's not. and then it's just gonna be wider shape like this, like that. Excuse me. Excuse me. And you know this is gonna be a wider because this has to be obtuse. Okay, so it has to be a wider angle. It cannot be a right angle, so it's not 90, it's bigger than 90. Okay, so then once I have this picture right here, let's take a look at F to K. Which one is going to be my correct answer? It talks about domain. Domain, remember, are your X value. If I look at my X value, it's going to go to the right, it's going to keep going to the left. So I will say that's negative infinity to positive infinity, or all real number. Okay, so which domain says all real number? J is one of them. So I know it's not going to be F, it's not going to be H. J is one of the answers. Then let's look at the domain, okay? Or I'm sorry, the range. The range are the Y's. Well, does my graph go, how far up does it go? It doesn't go anything past that 0, so it's going to stay at 0. But then how far low does it go? How far to the bottom? It's going to keep going until it hits negative infinity. So it's from negative infinity to 0. Another way of writing that is Y is less than or equal to 0. So which one says that? G. G is another one that says that. So it cannot be I, cannot be K. So the two answers that you need to circle for this one on the task is G and J. So when it says select all that applies, it means there's more than 2 right answers. Okay, 2 or more right answers. So if you only select J, your answer is wrong. If you only select G, your answer is wrong. You got to make sure you select both of them, okay? And again, if you guys missed the beginning of this, you can watch the video from the YouTube channel, which will go over this. And I'll label it so it says like study guide number 2, numbers 1 to 8 or something. All right, so then for number 4, it is asking you the piecewise function. Which of the function produces the same graph as the piecewise function above? Okay, so let's start off with the first one. If I were to go ahead and graph the first one right here, x minus 3, that means I'm going to start off at -3, 1, 2, 3, put a dot right there. I go up 1 over to the right 1, up 1 to the right, up 1 to the right, up 1 to the right. And then here is my graph. Now, I'm not going to use the entire graph. I'm going to use a piece of it. Which piece? It's the piece at x is greater or equal to 0. So when x is at 0, I put a solid dot. Greater than 0 means that it's going to be this piece right here. So I'm going to use that piece, and I'm just going to erase that green piece because that's the only piece I'm going to be using. Okay. Then I take a look at the second part to this, which is -x minus 3 is x is less than 0. Okay. So then what that means is I start at -3 right there, down 1 to the right 1, down 1 to the right 1, down 1 to the right 1, down 1 to the right 1. Here is my graph. I'm not going to use the entire graph. I'm going to use a piece of it. Which piece? X is less than 0. So at 0, it's an open circle. Less than 0 means that it's going to go down this way, or I'm sorry, up this way. And then I'm going to go ahead and erase this part right here. We're not done yet, so you need to have a seat, please. Thank you. Have a seat. So then looking at this, which graph shows me this? And the only graph that's going to show me this is going to be the absolute value of x minus 3. Because remember, with this graph, you go down to 3, 1, 2, 3, and you draw a V shape. And guess what? That's exactly what I have right there. Okay. So your answer is going to be A as in apple. So we're only able to finish up to number 4, but that's okay. We'll continue this on tomorrow. And so you can watch the video on Zoom on the YouTube channel. Have a great day, you guys.